This is the story of the elephant and the rider. In this story, I'll use the metaphor of a rider on the back of an elephant, in which the conscious mind is the rider, and the unconscious mind is the elephant. The rider is unable to control the elephant by force. And this explains many puzzles about our mental life, particularly why we have such trouble with the weakness of will. Learning how to train the elephant is an important secret of self-improvement. Our minds, and therefore our decision-making process, is split into two different sides. One side is like an elephant. It's the beast in your mind. It's emotional and it's irrational. The other side is the rider. It's analytical, controlled, and rational. This is the part of the brain that we want to use in our decision-making process. The rider is the part of your brain that does the thinking, that comes up with the good ideas about what we should be doing. However, the rider does not have complete control. The elephant is much bigger, more powerful, and stronger. And these plans are useless unless the elephant and the rider work in sync. The key is getting the rider and the elephant working in harmony. However, that's easier said than done. But there are a few successful ways to do this. The first way is to direct the rider. He needs a goal, a dream, something to move towards. Think of this step as the directions on a map. They need to be clear and precise. You can't say, head due west 40 miles. You've got to give step-by-step, detailed, clear, and precise instructions. Once you've decided on the direction that you'll take, you've got to script the critical actions that you'll take to achieve your objective. You've got to translate goals into plans. Change is easy when you know where you're going and why you're doing it. Let's use the example of exercise. You can't just say, I want to get in shape. That never works. You've got to have a set plan, a goal, a list of objectives that you want to accomplish during your workout routines. I've run into more than a few people who've quit going to the gym after a very short amount of time. And when I ask them, well, what did you want to accomplish? Why were you coming here? The most frequent answer I received was, I don't know. Direct the rider tells us that you have to have a clear objective in your mind. The second way to get the rider and the elephant working together is to appeal to the elephant, the emotional side. Give a stimulation, a reason to go, a reason to do. Knowing something isn't enough to cause change. You've got to feel something. In this part of the process, it's important to remember the difference between feel and want. What we feel, our emotion, is controlled by the elephant, and what we want is controlled by the rider. At times, what we're feeling and what we're wanting are the same, and that's great. You have very little need for motivation at this point. However, oftentimes, what we're feeling and what we're wanting are in conflict. And there are a few ways to get these two on the same path. When how we're feeling and what we want are in conflict, we will often tend to tell ourselves that we don't actually want to do something. At this point, you've got to really engage the emotion of the elephant. You've got to give the motivation an extra push and realize that what you want is of far greater significance than how you feel. Shrink the change into more manageable tasks. Small successes appeal to our emotions, and when we're more emotionally engaged, we have a higher likelihood to follow through on the path. When you've done what you said you were going to do, your elephant and rider are in alignment. Alrighty, back to the gym. Psychological studies show that consistency is one of the most powerful motivators on the path to success. This means that if you're going to the gym, it is far better to go every day for 5 minutes than one day a week for an hour. Building up small successes day by day, incremental increases, in your success will have far greater results in the long term. Okay, the third and last way to get the rider and elephant in harmony is to shape the path, to manage the situation. When the situation changes, the behavior changes. So change the situation. Shaping the path is all about making the right behaviors easier to perform and the wrong behaviors harder to perform. Usually it's not a people problem, it's a situation problem. And finally, back to the gym. When exercising, you want to create the path of least resistance. The simplest way to shape the path is by building habits. In my exercise example, I always recommend to my friends, set out your gym clothes the night before. Have no excuses for when you wake up. If you create a path that's easy to follow, you'll be on behavioral autopilot. If you want to make a change, you need both your mental and emotional faculties. This metaphor has really helped me to focus on change in my life, and I hope you remember it the next time you need to make one. You can find videos like this and many others on my Facebook page, Kaizen Teaching. Cheers!